sort of like blinkered view on everything, and I was just like, couldn't concentrate on work I was doing because I was so convinced that I was going to die.
You went public with the fact that you discovered you have Tourette's.
Yes, I have Tourette's. I didn't mean for it to be a big thing.
Why did you decide to go public with that?
Because people think that I am on cocaine.
Lewis Capaldi stood where his toughest moment once played out, facing the same stage, the same crowd. But this time, everything felt different. After years of silence, questions, and doubt, he was back under the lights. What drove him to return to the place that nearly broke him? And what happened in those first moments that no one could have predicted? There's more to this story than a song or a set. Watch closely, because one choice that night changed everything. The breakdown at Glastonbury. At Glastonbury 2023, Lewis Capaldi's much-anticipated set became an emotional turning point that would reshape his career and personal life. Having bravely returned to the stage after a prior mental health break, Capaldi was determined to give fans the performance they had been waiting for. But as the set progressed, the challenges posed by his Tourette syndrome became increasingly evident. His voice faltered, and involuntary tics interrupted his singing, despite his best efforts to power through. I'm going to be honest, everybody, but I'm starting to lose my voice up here, but we're going to keep going. Until the end. I just need you all to sing with me as loud as you can if that's okay, Capaldi told the crowd. The visible struggle and vulnerability he displayed were met not with disappointment, but with overwhelming compassion from the massive festival crowd, who witnessed in real time the immense pressure and toll that performing under such conditions took on the young star. The most unforgettable moment came as Capaldi attempted to perform his global hit, Someone You Loved. Recognizing his difficulty, the audience seamlessly stepped in, raising their voices in unison to carry the song. This spontaneous act of solidarity created a profoundly moving atmosphere, transforming what could have been a heartbreaking breakdown into a powerful display of unity and empathy. Thousands of fans, many with tears in their eyes, filled Worthy Farm with Capaldi's lyrics, turning the pyramid stage into a choir of support. The sound of the crowd singing back to him, lifting him when he could no longer continue, became one of the defining moments of that year's festival. Deeply affected by the experience, Capaldi offered an emotional and heartfelt apology as he left the stage. "I really apologize. You've all come out, and my voice is really packing in," he said, fighting back tears. He expressed frustration at himself, despite the crowd's clear display of love and encouragement.
The crowd did brilliantly while Lewis Capaldi struggled, but the truth was, it's just part of who he is, and he did it, and he came through it, and the crowd loved him for it.
His final words that day reflected both his gratitude and his sorrow. He was disappointed he couldn't complete the set as intended. The image of him stepping away from the microphone, visibly shaken but supported by cheers and applause, was a stark reminder of the human cost behind the spotlight. What followed wasn't just time away. It became a chapter that quietly transformed his path in ways few expected, prioritizing mental and physical health. Back in the wake of his emotional Glastonbury 2023 performance, Lewis Capaldi made the deeply personal decision to cancel his remaining tour dates and retreat from the public eye.
The singer announces he's taking a break from touring as he continues to navigate living with Tourette syndrome.
In his statement, he explained, "I need to spend much more time getting my mental and physical health in order so I can keep doing everything I love for a long time to come." The choice was not made lightly. Having battled the escalating impact of Tourette's syndrome on his ability to perform, Capaldi recognized that stepping back was essential for his well-being. By halting his world tour and postponing promotional commitments, he chose to prioritize his health over the demands of fame. The announcement, though disappointing for fans eager to see him live, was met with an outpouring of support and understanding. Many saw his courage in acknowledging his limits and setting boundaries as an act of strength rather than defeat. Throughout his hiatus, Capaldi shared insights into his struggles and self-discovery in the documentary How I'm Feeling Now. Released in 2023, the film offered an unfiltered look at his rise to fame, the toll it had taken on his mental health, and his ongoing efforts to navigate life with Tourette's. Viewers saw a different side of the singer, not just the chart-topping artist, but but a young man grappling with anxiety, self-doubt, and the pressure to meet expectations. On social media, Capaldi posted occasional heartfelt updates, reflecting on the challenges of adjusting to his diagnosis and the relief he felt in stepping away from the relentless pace of the music industry. The secret return. Lewis Capaldi's return to Glastonbury in 2025 was not just a performance. It was a carefully orchestrated moment of triumph that had been months in the making. After his 2-year hiatus, Capaldi and his team planned a secret set on the iconic Pyramid stage, deliberately avoiding a formal announcement to reduce pressure and protect his mental well-being.
Difficult at times to think that maybe this wouldn't ever happen again.
Organizers worked closely with him to secure a time slot that would allow him to slip into the lineup quietly, giving him space to focus on the music rather than media frenzy. The decision to stage a surprise set reflected Capaldi's desire to reconnect with his fans on his own terms, without the heavy expectations that had weighed on him during his previous Glastonbury appearance. Despite the lack of official confirmation, whispers of Capaldi's potential return began circulating in the days leading up to the festival. Fans spotted subtle clues, cryptic social media posts, sightings of his crew on site, and unusual stage activity that fueled speculation. Some festival goers shared hopeful theories online, while others camped near the Pyramid stage in anticipation of a possible appearance. The atmosphere crackled with excitement as the hints accumulated, with festival fans exchanging knowing glances and building a collective sense of expectation. By the time Capaldi finally stepped into the spotlight, the air was electric with anticipation, and the crowd was ready to embrace whatever unfolded. When Lewis Capaldi emerged on stage, the audience erupted in a roar of joy and relief. Smiling through the emotion, he greeted them with, "My name's Lewis Capaldi, and I'm back, baby." Thousands of fans, many of whom had followed his journey closely, welcomed him back with cheers, applause, and tears. The sight of the singer, visibly emotional but resolute, was a powerful testament to resilience and recovery. The connection between artist and audience was immediate and profound, as the crowd recognized the significance of his return. What could have been a low-key moment instead became one of the most memorable highlights of Glastonbury 2025. A shared celebration of hope, perseverance, and healing. What came next wasn't just a set list. It was a raw, unforgettable conversation between artist and audience. A set filled with emotion. Lewis Capaldi's 2025 Glastonbury set was a masterclass in emotional connection, blending the familiar with the new in a performance that will be remembered for years to come. Striking a thoughtful balance between his beloved hits and his latest material, Capaldi crafted a setlist that reflected both his musical journey and personal growth.
Yeah, I liked feedback. I liked people watching me do things. I liked seeing people enjoying something that I was doing.
Classics like Someone You Loved and Before You Go resonated as deeply as ever, their themes of heartbreak and resilience now taking on added layers of meaning given his recent struggles. At the same time, his decision to introduce new songs, particularly Survive, an anthem born from his battles with self-doubt and Tourette's, showcased an artist willing to bare his soul. The set felt like a dialogue between the Lewis fans had cherished and the Lewis who had emerged stronger after time away. What truly defined the set was the extraordinary communal energy that pulsed between Capaldi and his audience. From the opening chords, fans joined him in song, their voices forming a protective wall of sound that seemed to steady him whenever emotion threatened to overwhelm. Nowhere was this more evident than during Someone You Loved, when thousands sang together, transforming the fields of Worthy Farm into a sea of shared catharsis. The crowd's participation didn't just support Capaldi, it elevated the performance, turning it into a collective act of healing. By the end of the set, the bond between Capaldi and his fans had been reaffirmed in the most profound way. Every note, every lyric, and every tear reflected not just his personal journey, but the strength that can be found in community. His performance proved that music, at its best, is a shared experience, one that can lift us all, even in our most vulnerable moments. The anthem of his struggles. Survive, Lewis Capaldi's powerful new single emerged as the defining anthem of his battle with self-doubt, despair, and the determination to keep going. Introducing the song at Glastonbury, Capaldi said, "I wanted to write a song about overcoming these things."
This singer left the limelight to look after his mental and physical health, releasing a new song, Survive, all about getting better.
The lyrics are raw and unflinching, offering a window into the darkest corners of his mind during his hiatus. As Melodic Mag put it, Survive is a brave anthem that addresses a challenging period in his career that culminated at Glastonbury 2023. Lines like, "Most nights I fear that I'm not enough," and "How long till it feels like the wound's finally starting to heal?" speak to a deep, personal struggle with identity and worth. Yet, threaded through the song is a quiet defiance. The promise that no matter how hard it gets, he will rise again. More than just a song, Survive is a statement of intent, an unfiltered account of his journey through mental health challenges transformed into art. The creation of Survive was itself a meaningful step in Capaldi's path toward healing. He reunited with Romans, the songwriter and producer who had co-written his global hit Someone You Loved. Their collaboration brought a sense of familiarity and trust to the process, allowing Capaldi to explore his emotions in an authentic and supportive space. Together, they crafted a piece that blended haunting melodies with lyrics that were brutally honest but ultimately hopeful. Writing the song became a cathartic exercise, giving Capaldi a way to process the complexities of his hiatus and the weight of living with Tourette's. The result was a track that felt both intensely personal and universally relatable. Upon its release, Survive was immediately embraced by fans and critics as a symbol of Capaldi's resilience. Listeners praised its honesty and vulnerability, describing it as a source of comfort for those facing their own battles with mental health. Many noted how the song reflected Capaldi's growth, not only as an artist but as a person who had faced adversity head-on. Its reception at Glastonbury, where thousands sang along, underscored its impact as more than just a new single. It became a shared anthem of survival, a community uplift. In the wake of Lewis Capaldi's emotional return to the stage, fans across the world flooded social media with messages of support, gratitude, and admiration. His openness about his struggles with Tourette's and mental health resonated deeply with audiences who saw not just a star, but a human being confronting hardship with courage. Comments poured in, with many thanking him for his vulnerability and for showing that it's okay to step back and heal. Posts from fans spoke of tears shed during his Glastonbury set, and how his music and his honesty had helped them through their own personal battles. The overwhelming response highlighted the powerful connection Capaldi had maintained with his audience, even during his time away. That outpouring of support wasn't limited to his loyal fanbase. Fellow artists and public figures were quick to publicly champion Capaldi's return. Sam Fender labeled it "Return of the King," celebrating Capaldi's resilience and place in the music world. Alan Shearer, a sporting icon, chimed in with "Love it," while Jade Thirlwall and other celebrities shared heart emojis and words of encouragement. Sam Ryder, who was making his Glastonbury debut that same weekend, offered a particularly heartfelt reflection on Lewis's return.
I love that as just humans, right? We understand that closing that loop is a good thing. And stuff like that just makes me, stoked to be part of the human race, to be honest.
These messages from well-known figures not only amplified the positive energy surrounding his comeback, but also underscored the respect Capaldi commands within and beyond the music industry. Their public praise added to the sense that his return was about more than music. It was a collective celebration of strength and recovery. Social media played a pivotal role in magnifying the emotional impact of Capaldi's return on a global scale. Clips of his Glastonbury set went viral within hours, with fans sharing footage of key moments, including his tearful declaration, "I'm back, baby," and the crowd's powerful sing-alongs. Hashtags celebrating his comeback trended worldwide, and his new single, Survive, became an anthem for resilience, spreading far beyond the festival fields. The digital platforms that once amplified the pressures of fame now became spaces of affirmation, turning his vulnerable moment into an inspiring global event. Perhaps most importantly, this wave of support helped rebuild Capaldi's confidence as he re-emerged into public life. Knowing that fans, friends, and peers stood firmly behind him allowed him to face the stage again with renewed strength. Capaldi told the crowd, "It's just amazing to be here with you all, and I can't thank you all enough for coming out." The community uplift wasn't just a reaction to his music. It was a vital part of his healing, showing that in sharing his struggles, Capaldi had brought people together in empathy and solidarity. As the cheers faded, a quiet question remained. What would come next for him? What's next for Lewis Capaldi? As the excitement from Lewis Capaldi's emotional return to Glastonbury settled, attention turned to what the future might hold for the singer. Though he has been careful not to rush into grand announcements, Capaldi has dropped hints through social media posts and interviews about what fans can expect. In the days following his secret set, he expressed his gratitude and hinted at more music and moments to come, when the time feels right. His Instagram updates, often filled with humor and humility, suggested that while he's eager to reconnect with his audience, he remains focused on making sure his next steps are thoughtful and meaningful. The quiet promise of future shows, new songs, and perhaps a tour at his own pace has left fans hopeful and excited. Central to Capaldi's future plans is his clear commitment to prioritizing his well-being above all else. Having experienced firsthand the toll that fame and constant touring can take, he's been open about the importance of setting boundaries and pacing himself. In recent interviews, he has emphasized that any new projects or performances will be balanced with his health needs. His return to the stage at Glastonbury was a significant milestone, but it was done on his terms. A short, surprise set designed to limit pressure. Going forward, Capaldi's approach seems rooted in sustainability, ensuring that he can continue to share his music without compromising his mental or physical health.
I've never been more insecure and unsure of myself than after I did really well.
Creatively, the past 2 years have likely opened new pathways for Capaldi's music. His experiences with vulnerability, resilience, and healing have already shaped songs like Survive, and they could signal a shift in his artistic direction. Fans may see deeper explorations of mental health, self-acceptance, and the complexities of human connection in future albums. While his signature blend of heartfelt ballads and self-deprecating humor will undoubtedly remain, there is a sense that Capaldi is poised to evolve as a songwriter, drawing on the challenges he has faced to create work that resonates on an even deeper level. Thanks for watching this powerful journey unfold. If you felt the emotion, don't forget to like this video, comment your thoughts below, and subscribe for more stories that matter. And don't stop here. Click on the next video showing on your screen to keep the inspiration going.